These teams could be mirror images, as we mentioned, Michelle, at the outset of Game 1. It's the first time in 35 years the 1 and 2 defensive teams, the teams ranked 1 and 2 in the league, meet in the NBA Finals. So here we go from San Antonio as we get set for the second game in the best-of-7 finals. The officials tonight will be Dan Crawford, who is refereeing his 15th finals game. Jack Neese, it'll be his 9th, and Bernie Fryer, his 9th as well. Yeah, the night 17-4. Detroit jumped out to that big 13-point lead, and then San Antonio took over. It's Ben Wallace against Nazir Mohammed. Dan Crawford puts it up and begins with San Antonio's possession. Tony Parker, the point guard, picked up by Chauncey Billups. Ginobili gets his first touch of the game. Tayshaun Prince starts defensively on him. Now Parker. Outside the three-point arc. Shot clock down to 7. Cross court to Ginobili, and the first shot of the game is a Manu Ginobili field goal. A three-pointer.
Tonight, Detroit must do a better job off the dribble by the San Antonio guard, take care of the defensive rebounding, and then make sure that when the ball is reversed that they can cover on the sides.
Now Prince, like Ginobili, a left-hander, misses his first shot of the game. Parker, first possession, San Antonio did not work the ball inside, just on the outside, and this time it's Parker with a little runner.
Now we just had 2 collisions defensively. On the first play, there was a back screen on Prince, and there was a collision with a defender. Right there on the second play, another one, it's cost him 2 field goals.
Billups drives all the way. That shot is contested. Mohammed gets the rebound.
Look out in the corner.
Bounce pass to Bowen. He passes up a 3 from there. Now Mohammed. Wallace picks him up, and then Parker is able to save.
San Antonio will continue to come at you strong for 48 minutes. Remember, ball movement from side to side is their key.
Ginobili to Bowen. Duncan came out to set the high screen. He works off of it, gets it over to Bowen. And the other night, Popovich was forced to take an early timeout. Now Larry Brown has watched his team in the first minute 45 go down 8-0. Here's Rasheed Wallace, Duncan on him. Rasheed over Duncan for the deuce.
That's what I want to see, and they should do it more often. Force Duncan to play Rasheed Wallace. If he gets off to a strong start, make him be the guy on a catch every third time down the floor. Force Duncan to play him defensively.
2 threes for San Antonio, one by Bowen, who did not have a point the other night, and now he seeks his 5th point, doesn't get it off the bank. Mohammed is there, loses it out of bounds, but it's off Detroit.
When the defense gets broken down off the dribble, whether it's Bowen, Ginobili, or Parker, Detroit rotates that first rotation perfectly. The problem is when the shot goes up, that's where the second opportunities are happening for San Antonio.
Fresh 24, Mohammed. And it's a blocking foul on Rasheed Wallace.
Well, I like the mental approach attack by San Antonio early. They are going strong off the dribble, forcing Detroit to play them strong. If you rotate and try to help on the dribbler, they kick the ball wide into the corners.
Ginobili. And then Duncan started to move toward the baseline, and the pass goes out of bounds. It's Detroit's ball.
Yeah, that pass was a hot potato. What you like to do in that situation is wait till the player turns so that he can make a good catch.
So Parker pressured Billups in the backcourt, and it creates a steal, and then Tayshaun Prince, who has done this before, but this time it's goaltending. Prince is so quick, and as they love to say, so long, he's able to do that. He'll come from behind, he'll block a shot, but this time on the way down for a goaltender.
Yeah, that's it. It broke the arc. And right there, you could see the referee was right on top of the play, Bernie Fryer.
Remember the block he had on Reggie Miller in the playoffs last year? That wasn't a goaltend, and that was the big play in that series, helping get them into the finals. 10-2 San Antonio, 3 minutes into the game.
There it is.
That was Hamilton's first touch. And then Wallace over Duncan. Off the back rim. Loose ball foul underneath. on Detroit.
Yeah, on Prince. Good call, Bernie Fryer. As that ball came off, Prince pushed in the lower back to try to get himself positioned. Anytime that San Antonio switches out and you get the mismatch, like right there, Rasheed Wallace had the guard on him. Take your time. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Back him down. You just do not need the 18-foot fadeaway.
Parker saves. Muhammad is there, and he gets fouled. So that's already now 3 fouls on Detroit. And if you don't watch basketball that often and come in and out as a casual fan during the finals, once you have a 15 foul in a quarter, the other team automatically goes to the free throw line, even if it's a one-shot foul. They already have 3 right now.
Now Detroit will go after every shot attempt from the foul line down. Remember in game 1, they had 10 blocked shots.
Muhammad at the line, 2-shot foul. And this, the reverse of the other night, UB, when it was Detroit flying out of the blocks. Popovich called, he said the earliest timeout he's ever called in an important game, called another one about halfway through. That righted the ship. Tonight, it's Detroit getting off to the type of start San Antonio got off to in game 1.
Well, this is a normal first quarter for San Antonio in this building. Throughout the season and the playoffs, they're a +5 at the end of the first quarter, night in and night out. So the building, the people are accustomed. Now remember, 3 different referees here tonight, different type of a personality on body contact.
4 different Spurs have scored. The only Detroit basket by Rasheed Wallace. Prince. Duncan comes out to help Ginobili defensively. They whip it around outside to Rasheed Wallace. And Duncan gets the rebound. Duncan up high, taking Wallace with him. That frees Parker. Hamilton gets the rebound for the Pistons.
Well, if they can keep Parker on the outside, they'll force him to make the long jump shot. The key is try to keep him out of the paint.
Ben Wallace underneath.
Nice.
And is able to stuff it despite Muhammad being right there.
Well, Muhammad, an excellent shot blocker, but I like what Ben Wallace did that time. He made his move, gave his fake, gathered himself, and went up strong.
7-point San Antonio lead. Bowen, who had an earlier 3 missing here. Hamilton feeding Ben Wallace. And Rip gets it back. Billups now outside. Ben Wallace working on Bowen this time. Shot clock at 5. Prince from 10 feet. And then stuffed
wow!
again. What a follow by Rasheed. Emphatic stuff by Rasheed Wallace on the follow to make it 11-6.
Now, that was big time. I mean, he was off the rim. Just a great move by Rasheed.
And Prince puts his hands up. Again, a foul here. That's the 4th foul. And on Tayshaun Prince, it's his 2nd. Now you have the situation you had the other night. Larry Brown had to take Prince out of the game early, and it cost Detroit. And now he has to do it again because he has 2 fouls in the first part of the game.
Now Larry going small by bringing Lindsey Hunter. They move Billups to the 2 guard. Rip Hamilton moves up to the small forward position. Now you get good defense here, but you are losing key rebounding. And that was a major factor in the second half as the Spurs dominated in the 3rd and 4th quarters of game 1.
So Brown compelled to remove Prince again with his 2nd foul, coming with 6:47 to play in the period. Muhammad drops the free throw to make it 14-6 San Antonio.
Yeah, in the first 5 minutes, Al, Detroit, they've got to really pick up the defense. Too easy. San Antonio beating them off the dribble at will.
And San Antonio with an 8-point lead. Wallace now makes it a 6-point lead and wanted the foul as well as he barks at Joe Crawford on the Dan Crawford as he heads back down the court, and timeout is taken here.
I thought that he had an excellent point. Now he's at Dan Crawford right now. He thought that he was a little bit low bridge.
You know, I love him and I care about him, and I'm proud of what he's done. He's great for our game.
We've been friends for a long time. He's been a mentor, and he's been somebody that's been very special. I mean, not just because he brought me into the league, but I've learned so much from him. He's been very good to me.
I'll be a little bit angry if he beats us like a drum, but I won't be any less proud.
They are best pals. In fact, when Larry Brown was the coach here in the late 80s, there was Popovich, and they were head coach and assistant coach at the Olympics in Athens. And there they were with the Puerto Rican coach. And there they were before the game. I'm sorry, that was the Italian coach, I believe, in the Olympics. And there they were before the game tonight. Talked about it the other night that Popovich was the best man at Larry's wedding. And Tim Duncan's first shot of the game is good, and he gets fouled. Three-point opportunity for Tim Duncan. 15 fouled against Detroit. San Antonio in the bonus.
In the first 6 minutes of the game, Duncan did not attempt a shot. Now, this is his first look. He'll stay within the offense, and as long as everyone is moving the basketball, he'll wait for his opportunities. Now, you could see the Detroit defense was late on its rotation. First 6 minutes of this quarter out, we do not see the quickness that the Detroit defense had in game one in the first quarter.
All the Spurs starters have scored, and they go to the bench right now as Barry comes in and Robert Horry comes in. Popovich likes to go to his bench, as he does tonight about halfway through the first period. Rasheed Wallace tries to put it in off the glass, and Duncan got his arm.
Now, this is a tough cover for Tim Duncan, because Rasheed Wallace, because of his length and his long arms, can shoot up over the top of Timmy. Now, anytime that he puts it down here, right here, you can see the quickness factor. But see that elevation? I don't get Duncan with the bad ankles, cannot get up. He knows that he cannot block his shots. So if he puts the fouls on him, now you continue to go to him, and let's see what will happen with Duncan, whether he'll loosen up defensively or maybe pick up that second foul.
And that's the way Rasheed started the other night, and then he rarely saw the ball after that. And that was a topic of much discussion, that Wallace didn't get his touches the other night.
Well, like we always say, coaches say the 5 position and 4 position, center and power forward, they cannot pass the ball to themselves. They're at the mercy of the calls by the coaching staff and also by the perimeter people with whatever calls are made. When they get mismatches, they must receive the pass.
And that's why some of the heat always goes to the point guard. In Detroit's case, it's Chauncey Billups. 17-9 San Antonio, more than halfway through the opening period. On the switch, Wallace came out to take Parker, and then Barry whips it back to Horry. And Robert is off the front rim. The rebound to Ben Wallace, and quickly up to Rip Hamilton. Hamilton drops one in.
Now, Hamilton has the great 12 to 18-foot game, which is so missing in our game of basketball at all levels.
Detroit with the press, easily broken. Duncan had spotted up. Doesn't shoot, though. Now Tim puts it down and gets tied up. And Hamilton and Wallace were both there. And the foul is on Hamilton.
Now, I made a statement early, and that is that you have 3 different officials. The game is going to have a different type of a personality of how it's called. Now, in the early going here, the players must make a major, change and an attitude towards how this game is going to be called. Completely different from game one. Game one, 18 shot blocks, a lot of contact, a lot of non-calls, but it was the same at both ends. Tonight, you just touched somebody, the foul is being called.
Tim Duncan at the free throw line for a pair. Now they're going to bring Prince back in despite the 2 fouls, and Brown compelled to take him out. He has to put him back in with 5'11", and Hamilton will take a seat because Hamilton already has 2 fouls. Duncan, who had a 15 for 15 performance against Phoenix from the line and followed it up with a 3 for 12 from the line, drops both here to make it an 8-point lead. Duncan tonight 3 of 3 from the strike.
Now, in the early going, as soon as Lindsey Hunter came in, if you notice, San Antonio is extending their defense. They're going to force him to guard, all right, and to handle the defender 94 feet. Now, at this end of the floor, that's the first time that we've seen San Antonio go to an all-out trap once the ball went into the mid-post area. That's the halfway area out to the sideline.
That foul on Robert Horry, his first.
San Antonio's defense very quick tonight, Al.
Hunter.
Lindsey Hunter can score. He's just got to break out now. He's been struggling all throughout the playoffs, but he can score.
Horry. Missing the three.
Yeah, you got a small unit now. Anytime you can get the long rebound, you got to push and look for the easy baskets.
Rasheed. Horry on him. Turnaround over Robert. Doesn't go, but Hunter is right there. Doesn't get the bounce, but goes down and gets fouled.
See how easy that was for Rasheed? Just a nice turnaround up over the top of Horry. Look at this. There is no way that Horry can intimidate that shot. He can get up and challenge all he wants. Rasheed can get that look at will versus Robert Horry. Just take your time, post yourself up. Then when they run the double teamers, Detroit, even though they're small, you've got to crash the offensive glass.
Hunter spent the early part of his career, as you look at Hamilton on the bench. Lindsey was a Piston for the first half of his career, then started to move around. Wound up as a Laker in 2002, won a ring, and then was back with Detroit last year to win a ring. So he seeks his third, missing here. And it's Parker into the front court quickly, but alone and all the way to the basket. With only one white shirt and 4 blue shirts, Parker drives all the way to the hoop. Ava Longoria, who they say is his girlfriend, pal anyway, if Desperate Housewives is there, and Tony will go to the line for a three-point attempt.
Yeah, this is Tony Parker at his best. He is going to take you in the open floor because he's thinking score first. He is going to challenge a 1-on-3 situation, split the double team, and then take the body contact. That's the plus of a Parker and a Ginobili. They want the contact. They'll take the contact, and then they can finish in your face.
Can't convert on the three-point opportunity. Pistons have scored in their last 7 possessions after they fell behind quickly early. And McDyess off the Detroit bench, missing here, and it will be San Antonio's ball over the top as Rasheed Wallace gets a rest.
Now, 8-minute mark out. I would say that Detroit getting great looks at the basket. They've rimmed a few on the drive, they rimmed a few in the paint, and they've rimmed a couple from outside. But they are getting wide open shots with ball movement.
And they have to capitalize on it now. They didn't the other night, especially in the case of Hamilton, who was 7 of 21.
This was an excellent ball. That was a high screen by Muhammad, and as Chauncey Billups tried to fight his way over the top, Muhammad moved and caught him and dropped Chauncey Billups right on the spot.
Turnaround McDyess. So off the bench, Hunter's come in to give him a little bit of a spark. McDyess gives him a little bit of a spark as well, and it's a 5-point game. And again, away from the ball. This time the foul is on the Pistons. It's on Antonio McDyess.
When the game is called this close, you know yourself that when you're in the penalty, all you're doing is giving up free opportunities. Forget about your strong defense. You're putting people on the line. It's an easy way to score.
Mentioned it earlier, you get into the bonus, especially with Detroit picking up some very early fouls. Instead of the ball being taken in out of bounds, it's 2 shots here for Mohammed. And we can tell you that Saturday, you've got Phoenix against the New York Liberty. WNBA action on ABC. Mohammed started his career as a Sixer, then went to Atlanta, then traded to the Knicks last year, winds up coming to San Antonio, and now with a chance to win a ring.
He's a perfect addition for this ball club. He's a banger. He's a 7-foot guy. He can score with his back to the basket, and he can get to the offensive board. A major contributor through the first 3 rounds of the playoffs.
Running hook.
Got to make these.
Wallace got it back, and then Wallace gets fouled.
When you get down in their side tonight, if you're wearing a blue shirt, an out-of-town Detroit guy, you must score when you're inside of 3 to 4 feet from the basket. Go strong to the hole.
Stewart's guy.
Al, I talked to Ben Wallace before the game, and I said, Ben, He got out-rebounded by Manu Ginobili last game. And his voice got a little louder, and he said, "I'll tell you what, that won't happen again." And he added, "I'll tell you what else won't happen again. There's no way that Tim Duncan is going to out-rebound and outscore Rasheed and I together." Because those things also happen in game one. Very determined not to have a repeat of that, Al.
So he misses 2 free throws, and we talked about it at the top, Michelle, talking about Popovich. The first thing he told us when we saw him before the game, "I'm scared of Ben Wallace tonight." Because you come off a game like that, he has to listen to the criticism. I think he's going to come out completely different, and they're going to come out much more aggressive. Or he picks up the loose ball on the floor and drives to the hoop to make it 25-16.
Now, see, that's a heartbreaker. You get the little trap, you force the turnover, and then Ori, the guy who comes up with all the loose and change, the guy who just fills up all the stat line, picks it up and scores off the dribble.
There's Tim talking to Nazr Mohammed, telling him how to get in defensive position, working under and over the different picks that Detroit is setting. On top of everything you just heard Greg Popovich said, he said what people don't know about Tim, besides how funny he is, which nobody would ever believe if they didn't know him, is the leadership that he gives us in those timeouts. And that was just a demonstration of it. He said, Popovich calls it Timmy's time, and he does that always for our basketball team. Al?
If you're a coach, and Greg Popovich has said it, I mean, how blessed do you have to be to wind up with a guy like Tim Duncan in his 8th year, as you get the steal here. And Ginobili now, he will get it almost re-stolen, but Manu is able to keep possession and they'll set it up.
The old story, if you're going to front defensively, well, then the offensive team must create an angle to get the ball to the post-up player.
Parker missing, Prince off the glass.
I want to see Detroit get Chauncey Billups involved here right now. Billups only has 1 shot, and Rip Hamilton only has 1 shot in his first quarter.
Most of their shots have been taken by the big guys inside. Billups gets the shot here. Can't make the lay-in.
Look out now, they have numbers.
Parker. Barry works it back out. Ginobili for 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, that's the Spurs at their best. They force the issue. They're constantly looking to break. They are really excellent in 4-on-3 type of advantages. That was terrific ball movement.
Biggest lead of the game, and McDyess can't make the lay-in. Arroyo is getting ready to come in for Detroit.
Already, Al, they have missed at least 3, maybe 4 baskets in the post area, in the paint, 3 to 4 feet from the rim.
Hunter makes that one, 28-18. Hamilton will come in at the next break. Duncan is ready to come back in for San Antonio.
They're going to post up Ginobili on Billups, and Ginobili just got away with a foul because he pushed Billups out. And unfortunately for Detroit, the pass was a long pass into a turnover.
Udrih comes in along with Duncan returning. Parker goes out. So does Mohammed.
Right now, San Antonio has Ginobili up front at the small forward position.
Now, Detroit with Arroyo, who did not play well at all. In fact, Larry Brown was mulling before the game how much, if at all, Arroyo would play. He didn't play at all in the 7th game in Miami. He can give you a spark, but he can also be a tremendous liability. Hamilton with an air ball.
Now that one was forced. That was definitely forced. Ginobili did a terrific job on that down screen and then forced Rip behind the basket. That was a tough angle.
Ori gets it in the lane. And the foul is whistled here by Zach Neese on Ori.
Robert Horry has been so active once he came into this ball game. He has gotten loose balls. He's active in the paint. He is the outlet pass when the offense breaks down, and he continues to move with a lot of energy.
Foul on Arroyo. Ori will go to the free throw line. 10-point San Antonio lead, but Detroit, on a couple of occasions in the playoffs, has been able to overcome this. And there it is. The only 2 times in the playoffs, down by 10 or more in the first quarter against the Sixers in Game 1 first round. And in the game 6 against the Pacers, that was Reggie Miller's last game, they were down 10 and won both. Ben Wallace comes out in the waning moments of the period. 30.7 to go. Opening quarter, 29-18. Spurs, who have led all the way.
When you make major comebacks, it's all because of your defense, and then you're shooting a high percentage. Right now, they cannot control San Antonio. Detroit just cannot control them off the dribble or in their ball movement, and then in the open floor, the transition game.
And a foul call away from the play. Manu Ginobili putting his hands up. And on Manu, that's going to be number 2.
Now, I just thought right there, I thought that was a strong bump by Ginobili, but I also thought that Rip Hamilton slipped on the floor. But if you consider at both ends of the floor, in the early going, San Antonio has been the beneficiary of a lot of ticky-tack fouls, which mounted up and put them into the penalties. And at this end, Detroit must start shooting a better percentage on this foul line now.
Hamilton at the line. Darvin Ham comes into the game. Arroyo goes out with 18.3. And Detroit now 3 out of 8 from the free throw line. Ginobili will take a rest at least through the rest of the period. Udrih from Slovenia, the former Yugoslavia, loses the ball. Hunter now driving on Ori. Ham is there and can't follow, and Detroit had a golden chance to end the period with a score, but can't. Al Michaels with UB Brown, Michelle Tafoya, Stuart Scott, one of the legends, Bill Russell, 11 championships with the Celtics. And here's to you, Mr. Robinson. David Robinson, fabulous career here, ended 2 years ago. And the commissioner, David Stern, who really has his hands full today, talking about a possible lockout on July 1st and all of the rest. And that's for another day right now, as the commissioner and the rest of the 19,000 people look on for the second quarter of Game 2. Arroyo starts the second quarter for Detroit.
Detroit got to clean up a couple areas, Al. They're 3 for 8 from the foul line, and there's 5 foul shots. They've missed at least 5 opportunities inside the painted area. They're getting opportunities. They have 7 offensive boards. They're working hard. Just stay with your hard work, and you'll come back in this game.
Turned around by McDyess to bring it back to single digits. You saw the field goal percentage when one team's going to shoot 60% as Bowen drives and lays it in off the glass, and then Duncan is there for the final to follow. One team shoots 60% as does San Antonio, the other 39% Detroit. That's why you have the differential you do.
Well, that's the perfect example of a perimeter player beating his man off the dribble, and then the defense rotates, and who taps in the shot? The man who rotated off that defender.
And then Rasheed Wallace drops one to make it a 9-point game again. Detroit starts 2 for 2. Udrih drives all the way, too hard off the glass.
All right, 3 on 3 here, 4 on 3 with the trailer.
And Arroyo will stop and pop and hit. Speaking of pop, off the bench.
This is a small unit now with Arroyo and Hunter in there. They're very small in the backcourt. Oh, there's a great trap.
Threw it away. Wallace has it. Hamilton can't convert, though. Spurs quickly back. Barry to Duncan, left-handed.
See, McDyess has got to, you've got to challenge that shot. You just cannot give up a lane.
And then Ori steals quickly. Steals again. Helter-skelter and all that, but all the helter-skelter going San Antonio's way at the moment. Ori driving on Hunter, then dishes back out to Barry. Duncan fights for the rebound, and it's off Hamilton. He says it's off Duncan. I hit it off Duncan. The official there says no, because Hamilton had it when he was standing out of bounds.
when you go small, like Detroit has gone small, playing 2 point guards with a Roy on it, you're asking Rip Hamilton, who is a 2 guard, to rebound for you. Now, that was a strong call. The ball hit Duncan. Yes, it did.
And they changed it.
That's right. But as the ball went out of bounds, Hamilton was out of bounds.
Yes,
and
he
if
was.
it hits him, it's a change of possession.
Yep, they changed the call. And it's Detroit's ball, and Arroyo dishes back out in another steal. Barry got in the passing lane. Here goes Udrih. Dana Udrih with the lay-in here. Larry Brown is pacing, and Larry looking down the bench, and he says, Tayshaun, get up, you're in next.
Yeah, well, it's just uncharacteristic of the way that Detroit plays basketball. San Antonio has them totally out of rhythm.
McDyess now, who hit his first turnaround, not this one.
And what you love about San Antonio, you're holding Detroit now to 1 shot in this spurt.
Brent Barry. Mohammed gets the offensive rebound.
Good call. That was a travel. Good call. The major thing is that they must get Chauncey Billups involved. And we said that earlier in the first quarter. They've got to get him handling the ball. They need solid decisions. And plus, when the shot clock is down, they need a guy who can score.
Nice pass to McDyess with an emphatic jam. 36-27.
We know that is their strong suit. Take care of the tempo of the game, make solid decisions, and take high percentage shots. We have not seen that in this first half.
Dana Udrih with his Ginobili imitation out to Duncan from way outside.
You know he can make that shot. Now in this series so far, that's the first one that he's attempted. But when you are assigned to Duncan, you must get out and close out. Very seldom will he take you off the dribble all the way to the basket from that area.
Tim Duncan with 11 points. Tony Parker will come into the next whistle. Dice couldn't convert. Gets it back again. Can't convert either.
Now we're up to 6. We're up to 6 misses now inside of 3 to 4 feet. You add that to the missed foul shots, and that's a major difference in this game.
Duncan one-on-one with McDyess. Billups with the rebound. 7.5 left in the opening half.
That is a clear out.
Luka got a hand on it, then he gets doubled, loses the ball.
That was a beautiful defensive rotation. If you're a defensive coach out there, that's where your guards come down from the top, cut off that diagonal pass to go to the corner or the low post area. Brent Barry right on the money.
Duncan almost lost it and then gets fouled.
San Antonio has not got off their game plan. They're fast breaking at every opportunity, causing problems. In the offense, they're taking you off the dribble. That's part of their game plan. And then when things are slow, they stay within their offense, and they're getting what they want on the second and third moves out of the offense.
Duncan, 8 years in the league. Two-time NBA champion. They won it in '99. Did the Spurs beat the Knicks? Won it 2 years ago against the Nets. And Tim tonight from the free throw line has been perfect. Biggest lead of the game. Duncan is 5 of 5 from the line. 13 points. 40-27. Hamilton trying to get hot. And tip back up and in.
Now that's their 8th offensive rebound. I mean, they're working. Unfortunately for them, they just can't get the ball to drop. Oh, great.
What a pass to Parker.
See, no pressure on the passer. excellent give and go. You learn that in grammar school. Pass to the wing, cut to the basket. That pass was right on the money.
Learn it in grammar school, and then you do it in the NBA Finals, and 19,000 people go wild. Bowen call for
Just
the foul.
keep an eye right on the middle. See, no pressure on the passer. The pass was easy to make, and then Parker just blowing by with that explosion.
Detroit inbound, so after McDyess had scored, McDyess with 8 points, and McDyess off the bench is Detroit's leading scorer right now.
You have 6 minutes to get this down to 6 or 8. Well, you have to pay attention, stay within your offense, and then how about some defense, some solid defense.
Ginobili with a rebound.
Nice ball move. See, they change sides with their passing extremely well. Nothing happening, they take the ball to the other side of the floor.
Bowen dishing back out. Ginobili. Prince cuts him off. Horry's free for 3.
That's what they're all about, Al. Great teamwork. Everyone sacrifices. Don't force anything. Just stay within what we're doing. Break them down with the dribble and then kick the ball out.
How do you feel about this team as they compare to the last 2 champions?
Oh my God, this team's a lot more exciting to watch. I think they get better every year. I think the whole sport in general gets more competitive, so I think the Spurs have kept up with that.
How long have you been watching this team? What's your earliest Spurs memory?
You know, I don't remember. I remember cheering when my dad would watch at home, and I don't want to say how long because I don't know how old I am.
Eva Longoria enjoying the game. We'll let you sit down. Thanks, Eva. All right. Guys, I was told very strictly before that interview I was not allowed to ask about Tony Parker. So with respect to Eva, I did not now.
Michelle, would you ask her about Tony Parker when you get a chance? And speaking of Tony Parker, there is Tony Parker. He has just picked up his 2nd foul. Speaking of desperate, well, when you're down 1-0 and you're down 16 points, it may be a little too early to talk about desperate, but Larry Brown and the Pistons need a spark, and they need it pretty quickly here. Rasheed Wallace has it batted by Horry, then gets it back, but he's short, and Horry gets the rebound. Horry's been all over the place.
Horry's the intangible man. And by that we mean at the defensive end, and then anything which is a loose ball, he's everywhere. And he's in the perfect spot up place with the shot clock down.
Ginobili, 47-29 with 5 minutes to the half.
Now with 5 minutes to go, think about this. 3 players for Detroit, Prince, Billups, and Hamilton. Between them have 1 field goal. That's 3 key guys that they need to score the basketball.
Prince and Billups each with a 0. Detroit hasn't made a 3 nor even attempted a 3. And the follow here by Rasheed Wallace.
San Antonio, they're almost pitching a perfect game at halftime. They're shooting 57%. They're 4 for 9 in threes. They're 11 for 13 on the line. Playing well. Great ball. How about that?
Oh, man. It's like the reverse of what we just saw.
Right.
Parker from Ginobili after Ginobili feeds Parker.
Well, that was beautiful. That was a backdoor run coming up the lane and then reversing and going right back to the basket.
Prince saves.
The offensive end are getting a great clinic by San Antonio with their unselfish play.
Billups finally scores. So the other night it was Billups who led them in scoring with 25 of his 69, and that's his first deuce of the game. Horry passes up the 3, gets the 2.
It's the same story, possession after possession. Great ball movement. When they feel they have the advantage, they take it to the basket strong. You cut them off, they kick the ball out, and the 3s have been there.
Big Ben, the defensive player of the year, and that will count, and he gets fouled. Ben Wallace to the line. Let's go back to the San Antonio.
Now keep an eye to the right of your screen. You're going to see Ginobili went up the lane, and as soon as Prince turned his head, he backdoored him down. Now this is just a strong one-on-one move and poor defensive rotation by the Detroit front court down inside. So you say, yeah, but they've been trying to help all night, and when they help, the ball gets kicked out to the man. You're absolutely right about that.
Inside, outside they go, and Wallace, a 42% lifetime free throw shooter, converts on a three-point play to make it 51-36. Timeout. Auburn Hills, Michigan. The resumption of this series, UB, will be Tuesday night. But again, as I said at the outset, unlike last year where Detroit went home 1-1 and won it at home, right now they're in a position where if they go home 0-2, all they can do is hope to win 2 out of 3 at least and send the series back here.
Yeah, but right now, I looked at this. They're 15 down. They missed a ton of easy shots. They have not been able to score on the foul line. There's 3 good scores. Prince, Billups, and Hamilton are 2 for 13. How about if they put together a strong second half and get back in this game?
No question. They're capable of doing it. But right now it's San Antonio. They've led from the outset. They finished with a flourish, of course, the other night after a shaky start. Very much in command of this one to this point.
Everyone wants to be talking right now about them. They've got to score. They've got to score. What they've got to do is start to play better defense, Detroit defense, and then they'll get their opportunity. They've been able to get into that paint off the dribble at will. They've been able to post up and get the shots. Unfortunately, the shots have not dropped, but at least they're there.
McDyess with the basket right there. Took a look at the assists. San Antonio already more assists tonight than they had in the entire game the other night. Will this be another one? Bowen? Nope. Would have been had he been able to drop it. Duncan has 13 to lead the team. McDyess off the bench leading Detroit right now with 10 points. 2 minutes to play. From the corner, that's Billups. 2-pointer inside the arc.
That's right. They're down to 11. Nothing has gone right for them through the entire half. Early fouls have forced difficult rotations for Larry Brown. All they have to do is pay attention here and defend.
Ginobili whips one into Duncan, and Duncan gets fouled by McDyess. So Tim will go to the free throw line, and he's been perfect from the stripe tonight, 5 out of 5.
That was a strong move by Timmy, and a definite foul by McDyess. You're going to see as Duncan surprises him and goes strong. So he gets him with his left arm right into the rib area of Duncan. Now at the other end of the floor, I want to just tell you about San Antonio. You know, when you say Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili, they are 12 for 15 from the floor in this half. Now, what a difference from the big 3 at the other end. And still, you're within range to get the job done here for Detroit. You can't hang your head. You got to say, hey, we are a great defensive team. We can turn this thing around in the second half.
Duncan. 1 out of 2. The lead is a dozen.
There's your trap. They've been good at that.
And the foul is on Robert Horry.
Every once in a while, San Antonio will go to the quick trap. Usually as soon as the ball comes over half court, they'll use the lines as another defender, and they'll throw that quick trap at you to get the ball out of the key ball handler's hand.
They had a foul to give, and that was it. 52-40, San Antonio. Detroit trying to cut it to 10 or even 9 with a three-pointer.
Parker doing a good job not allowing Billups to turn the corner.
Hamilton. 4 on the shot clock. Tough defense. McDyess whips it out, and it's a 24-second violation.
Say this all the time. When you play at this level against the great defensive teams, when that pass is made to you, you must be ready to catch and shoot. You cannot catch, put it on the floor. When you do that, the defense recovers, and that's what San Antonio has been doing throughout this half.
Couldn't even get off a desperation shot from three-point land. Detroit has not even attempted a three-pointer. Ginobili with a great save, and then Bowen drives and puts it in.
Now that is what we call a confidence builder. Right there. Strong move. That's Bruce's third strong drive to the basket.
And that's something he doesn't do a lot. He normally sets up in the corners and drops down three-pointers. And, of course, plays phenomenal defense. Nice.
Where would they be without McDyke?
Yeah, that's 12 points. He's scored 12 points in 12 minutes.
Now, Detroit's going to have at least 8 to 9 seconds here.
But after Parker drives to the basket and scores to make it 14 points, and then Ori with another steal here. But a timeout has been taken and is taken by San Antonio after Ori steals it and goes down.
That was just a lazy pass and a move by Billups as he turned. Ori gambled. Now just keep an eye. Now watch to the left of your screen at the three-point line. See Ori, he stops right and he makes his move and goes for the steal. Always go for the ball as it's coming off the floor. That was a terrific move by Robert Ori. What a half he has had.
And if you want to know how the Pistons feel about their half, when you saw Hamilton walking off the floor, his facial expression said everything. No words necessary. You saw the way Rip, with that exasperated look, walks off the floor. The Pistons, the most points given up in the first half in the last two postseasons, and that's a lot of games, any round. Darvin Ham comes in to finish up the opening half. At certain points in the season, counting postseason, teams get real hot. And San Antonio, they played well during the regular season, but Phoenix had a better record. And then they stumbled on opening night against Denver in the first round. Seattle took them to 6. But in that Phoenix series, they began to come together, and a lot of people thought they would be the team to beat.
As soon as Duncan became healthy, Al, everything just fell right back into place. He has played like a monster throughout the playoffs, averaging 25 and almost 15 rebounds. The rest of the guys have just filled right in, and they are playing to their utmost potential. How about this?
A wild one and gets fouled.
That's exactly right. Now, he has been very quiet. You say Ginobili has been quiet. That's exactly right. He only has 10 points. He's going to the foul line. That was a nice hesitation move, and he suckered the defensive player into the foul.
Well, he has 10 points. He also has 5 assists. He has 2 steals. He now has an 11 point. You've got Prince coming in to finish out the half with 2.5 seconds.
Players like Ginobili, Al, are quiet. Quiet, I mean, when you talk about points and rebounds. They're just flowing with the game, and you just don't think that they are at the level that they are already, double figures, and yet, for him, it's been a quiet half.
16-point lead, Billups from midcourt. So the Spurs came flying out of the starting gate tonight. They sprinted out. They sprinted out to an 8-0 lead in a blink of an eye. They've never trailed, and they've expanded that lead. And right now at the half, it's a 16-point advantage, and we go to Michelle.
All right, standing by with Tony Parker. Boy, you guys in game one trailed by 13 early. You have had command of this first half from the get-go. Why have things gone so picture-perfect tonight?
I don't know. We want to make sure we had a great start because in game one, we start very slow, being off for 8 days. And we just want to make sure we bring a lot of energy tonight, and it pay off so far, but it's just one half.
It is just one half, and you know how capable Detroit is of going on a run. How do you make certain they don't get right back in this game in the second?
Same thing. I think it's about energy. We need to match them on the boards, on the loose balls, and just take care of the ball. They're going to play physical, aggressive defense, so we have to be patient in offense. We're sharing the ball great.
Thanks, Tony. I appreciate you stopping. Al?
Detroit sideline, Stuart Scott.
Now, I saw Larry Brown just before the start of the second half, and I said, how was that halftime? He shook his head and he said it wasn't fun. He said the aggressor always gets the calls. and he was just frustrated. He said that the Spurs have had about 10 layups where they drove at least 20 feet to get to the basket. And he said, nobody's coming over, nobody's moving to contest the shot. He said, those guys are just being more aggressive than we are. And he looked at me, he said, we got to change it, and we got to change it quickly. Now for the report for the Spurs, let's go to Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Stuart, I spoke with Greg Popovich. He was happy with the way his team moved the basketball. He said, hey, we have 14 assists in the first half. Compare that to 12 assists in all of game one. What he wasn't too happy with was the way his team was performing on the boards. He said, our goal was to continue to match them or out-rebound them. We didn't do that. We have to do a better job in the second half. Al, you beat?
But apart from that, things going along swimmingly for one Mr. Popovich.
You're absolutely right. Now, Detroit, in that first half, they missed 9 shot attempts within 4 to 6 feet of the basket. Now, let's see if they can pick it up.
And Wallace begins by missing Detroit's first shot, but they get the offensive rebound as it comes out to Billups, and Chauncey can't knock it down, and Nazim Mohammed with the rebound.
Spur basketball is movement of the ball from one side of the floor to the other into pick and spot up, post up, nothing there, take it off the dribble.
And Duncan feeds inside, but it's Prince who makes a defensive play to knock it away. Hamilton goes the other way, and then it won't count because the ball was in the cylinder when it was knocked down by Wallace.
Now that's the story of this game. That is their 10th opportunity inside of 4 feet. Just keep an eye on this. The ball is right there on the rim. Absolute solid call.
Tony Parker swings it to Ginobili. Ginobili guarded by Prince. And Duncan to the basket. Billups toward Detroit. Guarded by Parker. Prince defended by Ginobili. Bowen's on Hamilton. What a job he continues to do. We're talking about Bowen. Hamilton missing.
Now Hamilton got hit on that shot, no doubt about it. He's really upset. And he's challenging Danny Crawford as they're coming back.
Mohammed has it swatted away.
You have an advantage right here with the trailer.
Hamilton going all the way in for the score, and then a technical. So Hamilton gets the basket despite the tough defense, but then he had words to say to Dan Crawford about something obviously that happened earlier. So they get a basket, they cut the lead to 14, and then you get a tee.
Look, you just can't. What you do not want to do is get thrown out of the game. They need Rip Hamilton. Now, he was definitely fouled on the play before, and he thought that he was fouled right there, okay, as he went to the basket. So he just asked. Now, naturally, we can't read lips here right now, and what did he really say? But it caused Danny Crawford to give him the technical foul.
Want to bet? Only on your SAP button could you find out what he said.
When you're coaching at this time, you just ask your guys, look, get it to 10 at the end of 3. You get it to 10 at the end of 3, then we want to get it to 5 or 6 with 6 to go. That will give us a chance to win this game.
Duncan, as the shot clock expires.
Now, they've done a nice job in the Spurs' first 4 possessions.
There goes Billups.
What a tough night. That's 11 now. That's 11 opportunities inside of 4 to 5 feet.
Bowen from the corner, and sooner or later.
Whenever you give a great team as this many opportunities, if you're not going to make the easy plays, they're going to hurt you with the 3. Because San Antonio, big 3-point team, they're now 5 for 12 in threes in this game.
Prince contested by Duncan and out of bounds.
Larry Brown, no doubt about it. You know, he just cannot believe that his 3 key guys cannot get on Ravel, whatever it is. They just cannot get into the flow of the game. The ball will not go in the basket.
Tayshaun Prince. Nothing drops. Hamilton. And Duncan, and this of course is about the worst thing anybody in this arena can take a look at. Tim Duncan already, as you know, sprained his ankle earlier in the season, then sprained his other ankle. Came into the playoffs with 2 sprained ankles. Gets up, but this has nothing to do with the ankle. As you can see, with his eye squinting.
Right there.
Yep, took a shot in the eye.
Yeah, Billups Billups reaches out for the ball and he scratches right down and catches Duncan on that right eye.
But Duncan doesn't even need a 20-second timeout. Stays in the game, play resumes. Parker. Bowen free. And now Billups starts down the other way. You're a Spurs fan, though, and you're sitting in the balcony and you see Mr. Duncan on the floor. You just hold your breath. As it turns out, just a little poke in the eye. He seems to be fine. Parker gets it to Ginobili. Great ball movement, and Tony Parker knocks one down.
Larry Brown is up telling his guys, slow it down, slow it down. You can see San Antonio at the top of the game. The extra pass is always there. And then when they make the unselfish play, their teammate is able to shoot the high percentage. 59% at halftime. They're still on a roll.
You know, most of you saw that great feature on Bruce Bowen at halftime. Here he is, living in three-point country, knocking that one down. Take a look at his shot chart. There are his attempts this season at three-point attempts. Left corner 125, right corner 102. Very few any place else. He lives outside. He's a phenomenal defensive player, and San Antonio can beat you so many ways. The other night he doesn't score a point. Tonight he has taken more shots than any Spur.
That's a very good point, Al. He has 10 shot attempts, and Tim Duncan only has 7.
And let's check in with Michelle.
Another thing about Bruce Bowen, Al, his story is punctuated by his latest achievement. He finished his college degree in public relations in May from University of Texas, San Antonio. He wanted to walk in graduation ceremonies, but the playoffs sort of got in the way. But you know what else I didn't know before Game 1? He speaks Spanish, and all the writers from Argentina here to cover Manu Ginobili discovered that too. They got treated to it. He began answering their questions in Spanish and conducted an entire interview with all these journalists in Spanish. I asked him how he learned it. I should have known. His wife, Yardley, is from Cuba.
Well, the great thing about a guy like Bowen, here's an internationally flavored team. Ginobili from Argentina, Udrih from Slovenia, Duncan, of course, from the Virgin Islands, and the steal here by Wallace. Parker, born in Belgium, raised in France, and then Parker, the California kid. Of course he'd speak another language.
I love what Bruce Bowen has accomplished as an undrafted player. When you just think that he's been on the all-defensive team 5 times, he's created a niche for himself. A terrific defender, and then also an excellent three-point shooter from the corners. Shoots it at 37 to 39% during the season and the playoffs.
Parker commits his 3rd foul. 7.5 to go in the period. Hamilton contested by Duncan, who can't believe it's not called a double dribble or traveling. And it goes down at the end of the 24-second clock, so it counts 64-46.
Well, Duncan did a great job. He switched out as Hamilton came off that on a curl move, and he played him one-on-one heads up. He thought he had a good shot block. Now just keep an eye on this. Watch the down screen. Duncan has him one-on-one. Now that is not a travel. That's called an up and under as you're facing. That was just a great move by Rip Hamilton, and then he knocks in the shot. Duncan pulls that move himself when he faces you up anytime from 8 to 10 feet from the basket. Great move by a player on the move.
Hamilton, the frustration is so evident. That's his 3rd foul. Tim Duncan.
That's the first time tonight that Duncan has been able to post Rasheed Wallace right on that defensive circle. First time. In Game 1, he caught it there at least 5 occasions and was able to really hurt the Detroit defense.
Rasheed Wallace missing from three-point land. Billups. Now to Prince. Bowen on him. He loses Bowen, and then Bowen comes back to knock it away. So Bowen sags off and goes underneath, creates the steal anyway.
Great defense by San Antonio. They forced Prince to do the old thing of leave your feet to pass the basketball. And when you play against great defensive teams, that ends up in a turnover.
This is Lindsey Hunter. Barry trying to take away the right side from him. Gets it back. Still goes right. He goes around Barry, and then Parker gets the rebound. Lost it for the moment. Collects it.
San Antonio still out-hustling, out-quicking Detroit. And they've been doing it ever since we tossed the ball up to start this game.
Bowen.
What a game. What a game he's having. It's a young man who was 0 for 6 in game 1. Struggled with his shot, wide open. Put the pressure on him as we came down the line in the last 6 minutes of the game. Tonight, he's on fire.
Wallace. Ben Wallace. Bowen, no points the other night. 11 tonight. Scintillating defensively, as always. Barry, his father, is in the building. The Hall of Famer Rick. And Parker misses, and Ben Wallace leaves it for Billups. 4.5 left, third quarter, game 2. San Antonio has led all the way.
Nice play.
Beautiful. Inside to Prince.
You love that. When you throw the ball into the post and you make the cut, you have the half a step. Excellent teamwork. Beautiful pass by Ben Wallace. Keep an eye here now. He catches Prince right on the move.
And for Tayshaun Prince, his first basket of the night. You can see averaging close to 15 points a game coming into the series in postseason play. And tonight, Tayshaun Prince playing 21 minutes, 1 out of 7 from the field.
San Antonio got to reward their defense, and they have not let up. They're quick of foot, they're quick on the double teams.
And Billups fouls Bowen.
Game 1, we tried to set the table right at the top of the game, and that was, can Detroit keep San Antonio off the dribble in the painted area? We know as the game moved on, through quarters 3 and 4, they could not. Tonight, it's been almost 3 full quarters of San Antonio exploding off the dribble, getting where they want to go, finish with the layup, B, get fouled, C, kick the ball out, and then make the 3 as the shot clock is down.
That last foul was on Rasheed Wallace, his 3rd. Lovely getting ready to come back in the game. The next whistle. 1 out of 2 from the line. San Antonio's lead is 19 points. Hunter back to Rasheed Wallace from the baseline.
That's one of the very few times. I like Popovich. He made the call. He's out here now, and he is ripping into people. That was shoddy defense. That's the first time tonight on a screen and spot up that 2 defenders were on the ball. And he immediately called timeout.
Nobody's touching the ball. We don't get a possession where anybody touches the ball. So get everybody involved. Play like we're up 15 and holding the ball.
That's Larry Brown in the Detroit huddle, and then San Antonio, as we speed it up, doing exactly what Larry would like his team to do.
What they do is they maximize the clock, Al, and then they get you on the defense, everybody getting below the foul line. They kick it out, and they hurt you. Tonight, the Spurs, 6 for 14 in a 3-point game. Detroit, 0 for 3. 0 for 3 from 3-point land.
And on that speeded up sequence, 8 passes, and he used 22 of the 24. get the score. Ori missing from beyond the arc. And then a shove underneath.
You could hear the frustration in Larry Brown's voice in that huddle, because you know he wants them to play team ball, to get the basket so that they get easy shot attempts going to the hole or an open shot when San Antonio breaks down defensively. But it's still going to come back. They must start to defend and do a better job.
It was McDyess's third foul, and it's Manu Ginobili hitting a three-pointer. A 20-point Spur lead. And Billups, it will count. And he's fouled. And Stuart Scott, what else did Larry have to say in that huddle?
Al, Larry was very heated in that huddle. He was telling his guys, he said, guys, on defense, if one of their guys penetrates, I want 5 blue shirts in the lane. He said if they put up a jump shot, I want a hand in their face. And he also talked about them running their own plays, running the pick and rolls. He said they just weren't moving fast enough. And he looked at his guys and he said, guys, that's not going to get it. He said, we're not going to catch up in one possession, but we got to move the ball, and we got to move fast when we move it.
One small break they just got. Parker committed his 4th foul, and he will sit down, and Billups makes the foul shot. And, of course, Larry Brown, as many of you know, will have a date at the end of these playoffs at the Mayo Clinic. And if he sees much more like this, they're going to move up that date. But Larry, of course, has had the hip surgery, the bladder surgery during the season, has to go get completely checked out, and his future very much contingent upon what the report will show from Minnesota. Under 3 in the period. Hunter. Shot clock down to 5. Fumbled in the lane. Taken away by Udrih.
Now the Spurs made 2 definite closeouts on 3-point attempts. Excellent rotation. They're really helping one another. They're defending on the guys coming out off the screens, doing an excellent team defensive job.
Receive, posting, and then handing it off to Lindsey Hunter to make it a 15-point game. So Detroit has shaved 5 points off the lead.
Now you still have 2:18 here to come back, get it down to 10 to 12. That's all you do as a coach. You give them short spurt goals. You always want to stay optimistic. There you go. Now you just force another turnover. Force the Spurs to make the extra passes. If they shoot the basketball, get up and challenge. Try to hold them to 1 shot attempt.
Duncan comes back into the game. Mohammed goes out. Let's go to Michelle.
Well, during that last time out, Greg Popovich also had some concerns. He looked at his team, Al, and he pointed over to the opposite bench, the Pistons bench, and said, hey, that's a heck of a team over there. They are the NBA champions. They're the team we're trying to unseed. You've got to stop the boards. And he pointed to Brent Barry and Robert Horry and said, you two know what to do. Get it done right, guys.
They've been there before. Ginobili almost knocked it away, then underneath Hamilton has that shot contested, and Duncan comes away with it and gives it to Ginobili.
Yeah, that was just great coverage by Duncan coming in and helping out the player who was beaten off the dribble.
Manu Ginobili. Three-pointer. Manu Ginobili tonight has not missed a shot. He's 4 of 4 from three-point land, and that one is dropped in by McDyess. He's 6 of 6 overall. He is 3 out of 3 from the free throw line. Manu Ginobili has been perfect when the ball has left his hands.
Well, Detroit in the last 4 minutes here, they've done a nice job running their offense, getting decent shots at the basket and scoring. The problem is they cannot stop right here at the other end. Very few stops from the defensive end.
McDyess stole it.
Dave Barry's doing a great job on Prince and denying the pass.
Ben Wallace, guarded by Duncan, turns to his left, misses the rim, and Ginobili comes away with it, and he has it knocked away. Hamilton still can't get anything to drop. And Rip finally gets that one to drop, and that's big, and he's fouled in the process. But for Hamilton, 7 make it 9 points now, 4 out of 14 from the field, but gets this with the extra effort and goes to the free throw line.
Yeah, definitely. Ginobili was inside the defensive circle, so you're going to get that call. What I liked there was Hamilton missed the initial shot, Ben Wallace ran it down with great hustle, and then looked right back to Hamilton. Take it up in traffic. We know he's frustrated tonight. He's missed a lot of shots inside of 10 feet. But now, all you got to do is remember, you still got a full quarter to go here, and you're within striking distance.
3-point play, so a 20-point lead is now 13.
You have to watch out for now. Do not allow your man to back cut you to the basket.
Ginobili. Udrih from the corner. With 2.5. Boy, if one guy doesn't tell you, somebody else does. If it's not Bowen, it's the kid from Slovenia. George Gervin, the Iceman, from the Detroit area originally, and of course a 9-time All-Star with San Antonio. Still living in the area. There it is up in the rafters as we start the fourth quarter. Al Michaels, UB Brown, Michelle Tafoya, Stuart Scott. Game 2. 12 minutes of regulation to play as Detroit starts with a press and San Antonio in the front court now. And take a look at the 3-point shots tonight. The disparity, the huge disparity. And one at the end by Udrih to make it a 16-point game. Ginobili. And that's his first miss tonight of any shot. 3s, 2s, or free throws. He made his last 6 the other night from the field. He was 12 for 12. And now he's 0 for his last 2. And Wallace gets the rebound.
There you go right now. Ginobili's trailing. You have an advantage. There's an open man here.
He's back and they have to reset. Ginobili can't make the steal. Rashid on her outside. Loose ball foul, Duncan. The biggest lead of the game for the Spurs, 23 points. They've never trailed. Then the Pistons got it to 20 and then down to 13. And then that big 3 at the end. Parker starts the period on the bench.
And Larry called that timeout and we went into his huddle. And he asked, pleaded for more team basketball. He's been getting it.
And Ori.
They say they're arguing there. They thought the ball hit the backboard.
Duncan. Left hand misses, but then is able to get it and knock it off Rashid's leg. And out of bounds it goes to San Antonio.
That's the type of game that Duncan has. Not only does he take the left-handed hook, Rasheed Wallace had inside position, and then he out-battled Rasheed for that rebound.
9 on the timer on the inbounds. Ginobili has it knocked away, and then Ori has that knocked away. And the shot clock will get reset now at 14 seconds.
If a team gets 25, 26 assists in a game, coaches are ecstatic. It ain't because they're playing great team basketball. At the end of 3 quarters, San Antonio in their unselfish style tonight, shooting over 53%, 21 assists at the end of 3 quarters. Great move. Wallace tried to body up on Duncan that time. Excellent move by Duncan as he goes to dribble by. Rasheed grabs him. Solid call.
4th foul on him.
Duncan just taking his time so you can see Wallace is bodying him up. No doubt about it. So good call.
Nice move by Hunter defensively to stay with him off the screen. Udrih in the corner. Works it back out. 1 on the shot clock, and Detroit good defense that time. And when they do that at home in a couple of days, you know what you're going to hear. Mason, Detroit basketball. I love Mason. I couldn't resist. 79-63.
With Ori in the game right now on Rasheed Wallace, you have to look at your options. You know that Prince has been very quiet out here. Billups and Rasheed Wallace are your first two guys that you're going to. Now you got your switch. Now Rasheed had Barry on. So you can't stay outside when you get Barry on Rasheed Wallace. You have to take him straight right down into the post. You got what you wanted off of the screen and step back, take them into the post, force them to make a double team.
Ginobili and Horry are down. Bowen comes into the game. Muhammad in the game. Here's Billups. Nice move. Scoop shot.
That was a pretty fake of a behind-the-back pass. Now Chauncey faked the pass, brought it right back, and stepped under. You know that he can post up any of the point guards that San Antonio puts out on the floor.
9.5 to go. Down to 14 is the lead. Usyk missing. Muhammad loses the offensive board. Prince comes away with it.
NBA games, but when you're got great teams playing, the games are never over. You always want to stay optimistic.
Billups gets free. Nice little floater, and all of a sudden Popovich now up. The lead is down to 12.
Yeah, he's trying not to show a concern. He just told Usyk right there, get it up and over. He made the call. You know they're going to go down inside here to Duncan against McDyess. It's a clear out now. We've seen very few of these tonight.
And Duncan fouled by Wallace. Back in San Antonio, Chauncey Billups, last year's Finals MVP, all 4 Pistons points in this quarter, has 11 in the game. Of course, he is a much-traveled one. He was actually picked 3rd overall in the same draft in which Duncan was picked first. He played for 5 teams in his first 5 years. Pistons got him in July of '02. Played his college basketball at Colorado and has really found a home here. And you said it at the half. I asked you if there's one guy who can lead them out of the wilderness in the second half, it's him.
Well, you know that he can put the ball up. You know he's going to make good decisions with the basketball. He can score inside. He can score outside.
There's that 97 draft, Keith Van Horn in the middle there, but Duncan number 1 out of Wake Forest, and then you had Van Horn, and then Billups, the 3rd guy overall. And of course, Tim has been here all of those years. Billups has been everywhere all of those years. With a home now in Detroit, he has the ball after Duncan makes 2, and it's a 14-point game.
Coach has always wanted, just get it down to 5 or 6 with 6 minutes to go. Give us a chance. Give us a chance to get in this game. Right there, that was a nice ball fake by Rip Hamilton, and he got Bowen to commit. Just keep taking care of business and keep working. Now you got to see this. How about the contact? There was a good fade, and there you had the hit.
Hamilton.
When we talked to Popovich before game 1, we said, what are your main concerns? He said, 1, can we take care of the defensive boards? Number 2, Chauncey Billups. He can take over a game, and he's murder at the end of quarters. And then number 3, our team, ball movement. Well, let's see if they can do it from now to the end.
Closest it has been since halftime, when the lead was 16. 69 points. He already matched their total for the entire game 1, and it's dropped out of bounds. So Detroit with a chance to cut it to 10 or even 9.
Yeah, you would like to see Tim Duncan not dribble the basketball with his back to the basket going to the corner. He's better off when he makes the catch and turn and face. Now this is a nice possession here for Detroit. If they can get a score here right now, it would give them a lot of life.
And it's Billups, and he does put it in, so he has been the hot man here. And the lead is now 10, 81-71.
You can see it, Al. They went right to that post up. You make a commitment, do not try to gamble and steal the ball because you're going to give him an open look at the basket.
Duncan with 10 on the clock. 5 on the clock. Parker. And it's a 3-second violation.
Well, right there, they had Chauncey Billups on Duncan. That's why Duncan took him right into the post. Tony Parker thought he had an advantage because he had the center playing him. Ben Wallace. Hey, you had the mismatch on the other side.
Billups working on Parker, and Tony Parker has just committed his 5th foul.
See, this is smart basketball. You know that Chauncey Billups is one of the best post-up guards we have in the league. You cannot foul him because he's an 89% foul shooter during the season and at playoff time. See, right there, Parker got caught. This is where he scores, and now he just got him on another foul. They'll wheel Billups out here right now. And now you're asking Chauncey to play big.
Kick ball. Shot clock that's reset at 14. Parker with 5 fouls.
You get a score right now, you're putting a lot of pressure on San Antonio to continue their excellence at the offensive end.
Hamilton all the way, and it's down to single digits. It's 81-73, a 23-point lead with about 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Detroit 10-2 in this quarter. Hamilton and Billups, the outside guys, all 10. And take a look at this, Hubie. In the NBA Finals, 36 teams have trailed by 16 or more at the half. Only one has come back to win, the Baltimore Bullets in 1948. So, you know, every 60 years or so, Hubie.
There you go. But, yeah, Popovich is upset. The crispness in the passing and also the penetration off the dribble has stopped. And that's the reason why Detroit is back into this game.
Ginobili with a whistle before the shot.
Now, when you're coaching, you're upset because you thought your guy had defensive position. You could see Larry Brown right in, coming off the bench with a lot of vocal right at Bernie Fryer.
Foul is on Prince. Ginobili in traffic, gets hammered, gets fouled.
Yeah, Rasheed thought he had the block. Now, Rasheed came from behind on that move. Now, keep an eye on this. Now, watch Rasheed to the right of your screen. He's coming behind Ginobili, and there comes the hit. Now, he gets the block, but he comes right down on his shoulder. Watch it. Right there, see? And arm. That's why he got the call. Danny Crawford right there. Excellent call.
And McDyess has to come in because the foul is on Wallace, and that is his 5th. So Rasheed has 5. On the other side, Parker has 5. Ginobili is at the free throw line.
Right now, possessions take on, you're under the magnifying glass right now. Now, big decisions have got to be made. Solid, good tempo, set your screens. You need good decisions with the basketball, high percentage shot. Now, the foul right down on the baseline. Bruce Bowen just needs Hamilton as he changed direction, trying to come off of a staggered screen.
That's the 4th team foul against San Antonio. Each has 4, so everybody will be shooting free throws from here on out. 10-point lead. 3-point attempt by Billups. Offensive rebound by Ben Wallace. Chauncey drives with the left hand, doesn't go, and the rebound off to Bowen.
Yeah, we needed that one. And that was a solid move by Chauncey. He attacks hard. Excellent defense, excellent coverage by San Antonio.
And tied up, Hamilton reaching around, asking for the jump ball. Udrih got hit in the face.
Bad foul.
And they called it on Hamilton. He thought he had a jump ball out of it.
Yeah, see, just keep an eye on this now. So you're going to see the foul. All right, there it is there. He got him first across the mouth, then he got him again. Now, why is it a bad foul? Because it puts them in the penalty and they're shooting.
4th personal foul on him. As we mentioned, each team now in the situation where the shots taken on every foul. Wallace with his 5 fouls on the bench. Udrih makes it an 11-point lead. And now 12 at 85-73, about halfway through the 4th period.
Now the guys who brought you back are Hamilton and Billups here now. Oh, they're posting Prince.
Ginobili, what a steal, what a save.
A bad pass. It was a loose pass. Ginobili over the top. Great effort, goes for the steal.
His third of the night. Bowen from the corner. Deadly. Timeout, Detroit.
The Spurs have made 10 three-point shots in this ballgame.
And Detroit's made none. And Bowen's the cooler. I mean, you saw that movie, the cooler's the guy that comes in and pulls off a craft table or a poker table or a blackjack table, and Bowen just cooled off Detroit after Detroit had cut it to 8. It's a 15-point lead right now. Underneath this is McDyess. He gets it back from Billups, and the turnaround doesn't go. Udrich with a rebound.
In a situation like this, you'd like to go to the basket. I'm not just saying, hey, look, you can pick a shot and miss the shot. That's not the key. The key is you want to try to get to the rim as much as possible.
Bowen. Stop the presses. Bowen missed that.
Now, this is where they are excellent. They're excellent at getting a double-figure lead, and when they get that second shot attempt, they have the patience to take it out and run the clock. See, they go to their strength, and their strength right now is Ginobili with the basketball out high, and then they'll bring Duncan, and they'll go with that high screen, spot up, screen or roll, and Ginobili will read the situation. But the big key is they run the clock.
Foul on McDyess. Ginobili at the line. Michel Tafoya.
Well, Al, growing up in Bahia Blanca, Argentina, Manu Ginobili earned a nickname that translates to Stoneface. He told me that when there's a young kid that's not afraid of going against the big guys or taking important responsibilities, that's the nickname. And when he was 16 or 17 playing with the bigger guys, he was just a scrawny thing. He just didn't care. And that's where he got the nickname, Stoneface. He says he doesn't try to be a competitor. It just comes to him. It's just a natural reaction, Al.
It's interesting how the translations can vary. In this country, if you're stone-faced, you're not expressive at all. I mean, Ginobili shows every expression in the world. I mean, he'd be a wonderful actor. He's, in our lingo, anything but stone-faced.
They'll wear you down. They'll continue to take you off the dribble. They're shooting the penalty. They'll run the clock. And then they'll get themselves into situations where you're going to play them one-on-one. If they get to the rim, fine. If not, take the defense, kick it out.
Manu Ginobili. His merchandise being sold around the league these days.
I see he's just had a solid game now. You know, we're talking, he's in the mid-20s already. He already has 7 assists, and he's had 4 threes that he has made. San Antonio does an excellent job in closing you down when you think you have a three-point attempt on a kick-out.
Here's McDyess. In this game, you'll be amazingly, Detroit has 32 two-point field goals to 18 for San Antonio, but the whole game, three-point country. And you got a foul here. Detroit has none. San Antonio has 10, and then from the free throw line, it's 25-9, San Antonio.
Yeah, see, that's big. Larry Brown is all upset right now. He's all upset, and, you know, he's fighting for his team. He feels that it's ticky-tack fouls at this time, but this is how, when they get you in double figures, San Antonio, they're the master at this and running the clock and getting to the foul line. Now, they have already attempted 28 foul shot attempts. And when you get to the line, this amount of times, okay, they're going to be over 30 by the end of this game. That's why we said in game 1, with 18 shot clock, one team shot 14 foul shots, the other team shot 15. Here tonight, already San Antonio's going over that 30 mark.
You had 2 technical fouls there, one on Billups, one on Brown. That's why there were 2 shots taken. Let's go to Stewart.
Al, Dan Crawford is actually probably, I'm just saying, not the best friend of the Detroit Pistons right now. About 5 minutes ago, Coach Larry Brown was holding back Rasheed Wallace because Rasheed and Crawford were having words. Just now, it was Rasheed holding Larry Brown back from Dan Crawford because LB was having words with Crawford. Danny Crawford not going to be invited to the holiday party of the Detroit Pistons, huh?
Well, right now, you had 2 technical fouls. You've got Ginobili, the best free throw shooter, at it again. As we mentioned at the very top, Dan with 15 games as a ref in the finals. The other guys, Jack Neese and Bernie Fryer, with 9 each.
Right there, that was a foul out past the foul line. That was an easy call right there. Ginobili was held by his arm by Prince, so that was an easy call.
Manu's been to the line for 13 shots tonight, made 11 of them.
Now this is a major meltdown. Just think, just a few minutes ago, this was an 8-point game.
Yep. Ginobili is everywhere.
Right now, the Spurs, so you want to bring that point out to you. They close down the 3-point shooters quickly. They lead the league in fewest threes attempted against them. When you get down in and you kick it out, they run right at your chest. They are not going to let you get an uncontested 3-point shot.
And Popovich takes Manu out of the game so he can get a major ovation. 21-point lead. Darko Milicic is in for Detroit. Arroyo's also in and he scores. Milicic is normally the human victory cigar when Detroit has the lead, but not tonight. It's mop-up time. Barry missing. Starovich is in the game, so the benches are cleared. And we think ahead to Tuesday night in Auburn Hills, Michigan for Game 3. Ori. Now it's just party time here.
They're in such a comfort zone. You can say whatever you want as a pet phrase, but it's been there all night long. Off the dribble, kick it out, shoot the 3, make the high percentage. Time after time. Get to the foul line, shoot the high percentage on the line.
2:20 to go. Barry throws it away. Meanwhile, Ori has just tied a mark held by Michael Jordan. Most 3-point field goals in the NBA Finals over the course of one's career. Ori with 42, tying Jordan with that last one.
Robert Ori has had a sensational game tonight. Not just only with the points, but the 5 rebounds, the 5 assists, the intangibles, the 3 steals. He was everywhere in that first half, and then he's just solid.
McDyess missing the Milicic miss. You've got Devin Brown in the game. You've got Big Dog Robinson in the game. Both of those guys came in early the other night, and Robinson was a key factor for playing only a few minutes.
It's nice to see Devin Brown back. Devin Brown was on fire before he got a back injury, a herniated disc. And the game, by the way, was played at Detroit. It happened in the pregame warm-ups, and then the next night in New York, he re-injured it, and then he missed 14 games. It's nice to have him back. The reason? He averaged 15 points a game for the previous 7 games before that injury. This young guy was making a big contribution here with San Antonio.
And a kid who played his college ball right here in San Antonio. University of Texas at San Antonio.
Oh, it's interesting how you had Devin Brown at small forward, Bruce Bowen at small forward. Both guys playing, giving you big contributions night after night. Both guys undrafted.
21-point lead. San Antonio will be up 2-0. We mentioned at the top, they've guaranteed a trip back here as Arroyo goes down for, at worst, a 6th game, and then, of course, maybe a 7th if it gets tied 3-3. And now, at the end of the game, Duncan helping Arroyo get up. or they would come home and have a victory parade if they wind up winning 2 out of 3. There is the schedule. We'll be in Detroit Tuesday night, 3rd game. We'll be there Thursday night, game 4. Then, if necessary, a 5th game will be a week from tonight. So we're on a Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday schedule. And then we'll be back here for the final 2 if necessary, as Arroyo needs some assistance in coming off. So now the Pistons, and it's simple, the math becomes real simple here, have to win 4. You sweep at home, you're still going to have to win a game on this court where the Spurs are they were so tough during the regular season. Tremendous home record, playing extremely well right now. Your thoughts, as they say.
38-3 during the season. They only lost 1 game in the Denver series at home. So you know that they play extremely well here. But then you have to say, if you're thinking positive, you're on the coaching staff, hey, we're going to win 3 games at home in Detroit. We proved that we can win on the road in the Miami series, and we are going to come back in here and change our luck. That's how you have to talk if you're Larry Brown and his coaching staff. They're going to look at this film and say, how did we miss all of those 9 shots in that first half within 4 to 5 feet of the basket? All the missed foul shots. We can do a better job. We got good looks by our guys. In spite of all that, we were only down 8 with a chance to get it done. And then we melted down over about a 3 to 4 minute period.
Right, they turned a 23-point deficit into an 8-point deficit. Of course, the crowd here loving every second of it as the clock winds down. On their feet, saluting their Spurs, who've done just what they had hoped, and that's won the first 2 games. On we go to the Motor City now for the 3rd game on Tuesday night, with San Antonio having won game 1 by 15 and having won game 2 by 21. 97 to 76. The Spurs never trailed. Greg Popovich and the team, they'll fly out tomorrow. Larry Brown and the Pistons go back tonight. Let's go to Michelle.
All right, standing by with Bruce Bowen and Manu Ginobili. Bruce, let's start with you. Detroit went on a run there in the 4th quarter. How did you guys manage to keep them at bay?
Well, we understand they're a very good ball club, and they're going to make runs. They're the professional team that they are. And we understand it's not just about 3 quarters or 3.5. It's the full 48 minutes of the game.
And you played defense all 48 minutes, just about. Scoreless in game 1, 15 points tonight. How'd you find your shot?
Well, I had good shots in the last game, but that's why I worked so hard on my game. Because there are times where I will have a night like tonight, and unfortunately I had a bad one the other night, but I had to keep going, keep going, keep going.
Congratulations on the nice performance, Bruce. Let's turn to your teammate, Manu. You guys are up now 2-0, and you know what that means in a 7-game series. Very few teams lose with that lead, but how do you guys look at it?
We look at it that we're going to have the chance to come back for sure. So that's a big thing already. Having the opportunity to close an NBA championship at home is huge, so that's the only way we see it.
You guys now head to their home court. How do you expect things to change up in Detroit?
Well, of course, the crowd is going to push a lot. They're going to get inspired. They're going to play tougher. But we've been playing really well on the road. So we are very confident we can get one on there.
Congratulations on the win, Manu. Al, let's send it to you.